Hiya guys, we're just going to do a quick video diary, so an aide memoir from the recent Working at Heights and Rope Access course. So we're just going to set some standard operating procedures for us as a team at ERS. So the first thing is, before we get into any work whatsoever, we're all going to get PPE'd up. So we're going to make sure we've got our coveralls on. Helmets are going to be essential, so we make sure we've got them fitting. Gloves are optional but advisable. So I'll just put this on and I'll see you in a second. So once you're PPE'd up, you've got your harness on, obviously make sure everything's nice and snug. Make sure this waist bit is nice and high up. Tuck back any of your towels. So if you look on the harness here, if you thread that back through, you can just see in there you've got little clips where your towels will fit into. You can find it. So just get everything tucked away. Same with this, slightly different idea. This one's got elastics and even, or just elastics on there. The other's got some Velcro on it. But yeah, so you can tuck your bits out, or you've got elastic down on here. So just neaten everything up, get it tidy. Let's just remind ourselves of some of the kit we're actually carrying on here. Obviously we know our whistle is essential wherever you've got that, so we can use it for communicating. We're then going to have two lanyards on there. So one of the lanyards will be attached to our ascender, so we'll have a look at that later and we'll go through tying a lanyard in a minute. The other lanyard will be for our safety. We've then got our ID, is what we're referring to this as. So this is the ID, so we're going to use this for actually lowering ourselves down, so for descending. So we'll go through, remind ourselves, but when we're doing this, this is always attached to our waist section. Literally everything goes on our waist apart from our full arrest. So just have a little look at this. This is our full arrest, so this is the one that goes onto our chest strap, and this is our safety. So put it onto here. With these carabiners here, we're just going to screw gate it up so it's kind of in there, done. At the other end, this one is a twist. Once you've twisted it, you kind of lift and twist, then it pushes in. Okay, so it's just that lift, twist, push in, and then that will kind of come all the way off, but we'll go through that again in a second. So there's our safety one on there, and all I was going to do to tuck that out of the way was just that lift twist there and just hook it onto the gear loop, and it just keeps that neatly out of the way for doing it. So everything's kind of neat. We've got a couple of spare carabiners we'll go through, and we've got our foot stirrup hanging off of our ascender, which we're going to need. So what I just wanted to do now was have a look at these lanyards. So if we look at this lanyard here, this is basically set up ready. So I'm going to undo this and start it again so you can see what I've done. Here I've got a single figure of 8, which I'll undo and do again. We need that because we re-thread it. So let's just undo that one for a second. And here I've got a double figure of 8, which we're going to put a carabiner on the end. So again, I'll just undo that. If we just put the rope on the floor, you can see this here. First of all, I'm going to do that single figure of 8. So all I'm going to do is bend the rope, take it under, and then back through. And can you see there how I've got a single figure of 8? So that's what we're going to need on one end. So I'll just do that again for you. So we're going to bend the rope. So there's our loop. Take it up this way. Go under and then back through. So we just do that slowly. So you can see there I've got my figure of 8. Well, what I'm going to do is the same at this end, but I'm going to bend the rope in half to do my figure of 8, because then I get a loop left at the top. So what I'm going to do is bend that, you can see the same bend, tuck it underneath and then back through itself. So hopefully you could see that, and I've got my loop there. And always dress your knot so it looks nice and neat. Now, we only want 10 centimetres of rope as our towel, so about a hand's width. So this is too long. So what I'm going to do is redress this by pushing it through. That's about the length we want, so that's perfect. This is the bit I got here, and I'm just going to bring that through, and all I'm doing is dressing, following the rope. Now what I've done is make my loop a lot bigger, which I don't need, so I can get my loop smaller again to the size I need. Keep threading this through, so just dressing the rope, keeping everything nice and neat. And if I now pull on that, there's a nice double figure of 8 with a loop at the top, and that loop will have a carabiner in it, and I can use that to attach on as an anchor for my safety. So let's now have a look at this double figure of 8, and I'm just going to stand up for this one, the single figure of 8. So I'm just going to do it once more so you can see it. So I've got my straight rope, make a loop, go round the back through itself. There's my single figure of 8. What I'm now going to do is go through my waist part, and now I'm going to thread the rope back through. So watch the route it goes, down there, follow it around, comes back up. So I'm following the route all the way down. Now, as I said a minute ago, I want at least 10 centimetres of hand width. I haven't got enough, so I'm going to bring some more rope up. Pass this all the way around until I get it about right. Take the loop out, because I don't need that. There we go, so it's getting there. So just a tiny bit more, just to make it all nice and neat. There we go, so there's my 10 centimetres, so it's from that point, and now I'm going to take it back the other way for myself, and I want to make sure this is about arm's length, so again I can make that a little bit longer there. Let's get that down. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's about arm's length. It probably could be a little bit longer if I wanted it to be, but I'm making sure I've got them tails. So this one is going to be my safety, so I can use that to hook on. So again, I'm just going to put that onto my gear loop there, just so I've got it ready for my safety. And now I've got all the kit that I need for setting myself up ready. As I said earlier, I've got the gloves. Now, let's bring you over to this bit here. So what we've set up in the training environment is we've already got 2 anchors. I'll show you how to do them anchors in a minute. But what we're going to always do is we're always going to be working on 2 ropes. So this is essential. You could have both ropes the same colour. We've made a decision to have 2 different coloured ropes. One of them is going to be red if we can, and that will always be our safety rope. So that will be our kind of safety one, which we're going to attach our ASAP to, and I'll go through how to do that in a minute, which means our white rope will be our working rope. So that's what we're going to attach to actually work on, but whenever we're working we've always got 2. Now as you can see on the ground, what we've done is made sure we've got more than enough rope on the floor so we don't kind of run out and drop our gear off the end. Now absolutely vital at the end of our ropes is a stop knot. So we've all got to be able to do a stop knot. So when our rope first comes, it'll be nice and clean. Now, if this was our working rope or even our safety rope and we dropped it into a hole and then we kind of dropped down on there, we descended and we wasn't touching the floor, our gear could come straight off of that. So what we do is we put in a stop knot. I'm going to come around this way so you can see me do this stop knot. So I'm going to start this way. I'm going to come up, over my finger, over again, and then back through the 2. So there's my stop knot. Okay, so I'll do that once more for you. Probably need a little bit more length on there, so there's a nice bit of length. So about there, so on my finger, I'm going to go around. So I've made a loop, go around again. So I've made a second loop, and then this end will go through those 2 loops I made. Pull that tight, and that there is our stop knot. So it's absolutely vital we put a stop knot on the end of both ropes. So I just do this one quickly so you can see it. So again, we've got a nice length, so that's touching the floor. This is just mid kind of level. There's my kind of, if you like, the kind of gun finger sticking out. I'm going to make a loop, and then go through the 2. And pull that tight. So get that tight. That's my stop knot. Really important we do that. So now I've got my 2 ropes. So we said that our red was going to be our safety rope. So our first thing we're going to do is attach our ASAP to our safety rope. So just going to take this off of my gear loop on here. And what I need to do is actually take this off of the equipment, and this is where we're probably going to put a little bit of string, just making sure we don't drop this. You've got to be careful. So we can come in close on this one and have a look. If we have a look on here, we can see there's an arrow which says up, and we've got our wheel. This kind of moves, and you can just see all the sharp teeth on there, and it's got the picture on there. So what we're going to do is click it down, put our rope into that, and allow it to click up. We're then going to get our carabiner, remembering how to use it, and when we clip, we're going to actually make sure we take the rope in the carabiner as well. And because this is our safety, we're going to test this. So if I just take it up slightly and then jam it down, it's locked. So if that was on here, I would fall. Now what I've got inside here, and I'm not going to undo this, but this webbing would all come undone, and this is like a shock absorber. So if I fell, I'm still going to fall further than this distance, because all of this will come out as a shock absorber. We only ever get to use these once. So it's important we keep all this nice and neat, and that would come out. So I know that's now locked. I would now fall down onto that, and that's important that I'm hanging now on my chest rather than my waist, because it will hold my head higher up. What I've got to do now is unlock this. So if we kind of unlock this, push it up slightly, let's get that bit free. And now you can see it's just running up and down the rope nice and freely. That's important, because when I start climbing, I need it to move freely. But if I fall, it'll be a sudden jerk. There's my jerk. It's locked onto the rope, and I would then be hanging on that. So this is my safety. Once it's locked, I must release it by taking it up slightly, pulling it in, and then making sure it runs free. So you can see this one's not quite free yet. There's a little click on there. There's the click, it's gone now, and that goes up and down. So that will always stay there, and if possible, try and work with my arm under that section. So as I'm going up my working rope, that always stays higher than me, which will help if I do fall. Okay, so that's my safety sorted. Now going to come across to my working rope. So there's a couple of things we need to do. From this height, we would need to go up and then come back down. But what I'm going to do is actually go through how to come down first, so we can get to cross with that, and then I'll go through how to go up. So to go down, so like an abseil to lower yourself, we're going to use our aide, and as we said, that is always off of our waist one. It doesn't need to come off, so this carabiner here can be done up and kept locked. We don't ever need to undo this. We've got a little black handle here, we push that, and the gold bit flips up. With my working rope, my thumb on there comes down. This working rope will go around and will sit in here. So just show you that there. So this end here has come in, and you can see where the teeth are. And then what I can do is close that down onto the carabiner. Now that's closed down on the carabiner. This is important, it comes over this extra edge, and this is my lock handle, so I'm just going to put that into the lock position. So now that's locked down there. There might be a little bit of stretch, but you'll see now, can you see how I can hang off of here and I'm not going anywhere? This still runs freely, but I'm locked and I'll swing because this is locked off. If I then want to lower myself down, I use this handle, I pull it back, so this now is my control. So this rope is controlling me, this handle is releasing. Look how the rope goes over the extra bit. So as I pull this down, there's a little sweet spot, and now I can lower myself down. I'm just going to stand up. I'm going to unclip that. Don't need that. So we unclip that. Go through this once more. Okay, so this is my ID, it's on my waist, carabiner done up, never need to undo it. I need to lower down on my working rope, my safety is already on and up there. I'm going to unclip, open it up. If it's not open at the top, handle just comes around and that opens it up. So now work down. Rope goes in, goes around, so we thread it around, and then this will clip down. So that clips onto the carabiner, that's locked in. Close it off to lock it, so they're in my safe position, that's coming over there. I can now put my weight onto here. This is my control hand, and I can have this as low as I want down here, bring my handle around, find the sweet spot. I just turn myself so you can see it closely here. Yeah, so you can see that. Here we go down, got the sweet spot there. If I pull it too much, it locks again. And if it's locked, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to bring that all the way around, back again, and now take the tension, get the sweet spot, and down I go. Okay. So that's going down. So take that back out, click that on. That will just hang and stay there. So the next one we're going to go through is going up the rope. So my safety is still on. I'm still working on my working rope. This time I'm going to use the hand grab or the ascender. So there's a couple of different parts to this. So I'm just going to take this stirrup off for a second and put that there. Again, you can come in close and have a look at this. This is my right hand. My thumb can pull this down and pull this back. So you can see the teeth. This part is going to go into the rope here. And then I let that go and it grabs the rope. And the way in which this works is if I pull down, that locks in, so I won't go anywhere, but it will slide up. What we're going to have to do is put a carabiner onto this as well. So this is now on a lanyard, so I'll never ever lose it. And again, just make sure everything's done up before you actually put any weight on it. I'm going to need my foot stirrup now. So this is my main one that's going to kind of pull me up. So that's from my kind of waist there. This is my foot stirrup. And if we just undo the foot stirrup, we can see, let's just get this carabiner at the top there. We've got a sliding knot, so I can get that foot stirrup in there, get that to where I want it. And all I'm going to do is click that into the bottom there. And that's just going to be my foot stirrup, so I can actually push that up and then stand up in that section. But what I also need is my harness on. So now this is my crawl. So again, it's this same mechanism where this bit comes down, comes out, and you can see the teeth in there. My working rope clips into there, put the crawl back down. Now what's going to happen is as I go up, that grabs me, and if you look, if I put my weight on here now, what I actually done is the harness is being held so I can lift my feet off the ground and I'm being held on my crawl. So if I've now got my foot stirrup, as I now stand up, and I'm going to do it from the floor, as I stand up, that can go up, I can stand up, but I've got to make sure the crawl goes up the rope. Holding it down low helps. Now you can see how I'm hanging in the harness and I can slide that back up, hold that down, up I go. And I can keep going up and up this way. So I'm using this grip, the foot stirrup, holding the rope. If you find it a struggle to hold the rope and you need two hands to pull yourself up, this crawl doesn't always go through, but what you could do is attach a weight to the bottom, maybe the medical bag, or get someone to hold it, and it would do the same job. Now that I'm in the air, I've got to come back down. So I'm spinning around now. I'm going to go back to using this descender to come back down. So what I'm going to do is this loose rope is threaded through the descender exactly the same as you saw me thread it previously. What I've done is I've re-threaded my descender. I want to take out as much of the slack through that as I can. So threading it through. I'm going to pull myself up and then get my weight into that. So let's just thread that through as much as we can. And then as I come up, I'm now going to detach my crawl and come down. So I'm now sitting in the aide. And then all I've got to do is, a bit too much on this one. So I'm going to take myself up on there. Now I can take my ascender off, back on my gear loop. And then, so I should have locked that. Now I'm back into my abseil, coming down exactly the same as I did previously. Okay, so that's the basics for the going up and down. In the next video, we'll have a look at setting up a very simple hauling system with mechanical advantage. I hope that helped, guys. See you on the next one. We're going to set up a very simple hauling system, and this is just as an example, so it's over a short distance. As you can see, I've just set an anchor point here. This could be as high as we want, so it's just a carabiner on there, and I'm just going to haul up this weight. So I would always double up on this, so we would have our safety rope as well as our working rope. But for this example, I'm only going to do the one. So the first thing is, I'm going to attach to my person, if you like, or my load. So I'm just going to do my figure of 8 as before. I'm going to go through and I'm just going to re-thread my figure of 8, making sure we've got more than enough, so I haven't left myself enough tail. So we just work this through. Goes around. There we are. So that's it. If I was to lift this, because this is 20 kilograms, if I was to lift that, I'm lifting 20 kilograms. So the first thing I'm going to do is use this pulley. Not the best pulley in the world, but it is a pulley after all. I'm just going to pop that into the pulley so the rope runs through there, and I'm just going to attach that to this carabiner. Do my carabiner up, and I'm going to pull on that. Actually, this has given me no mechanical advantage whatsoever. All I've done is change the direction of the pull. So instead of me trying to pull it up here, I'm pulling it down here. There is no mechanical advantage. So this isn't a pulley system yet. So what I now need to do is get this into a system to give me mechanical advantage. All that's done is change the direction of the rope. So if we have a look down here, I need an anchor point. So I'm going to use this here as an anchor point. So we're just going to come around, go around, clip these two together. So all I've done is get myself an anchor point, which is nice and secure. This is the aide that we used earlier, so we know we can belay from this. So I'm just going to make sure that's done up. I can now open up the device, and then I'm going to thread my rope. So this is the live part of the rope, so that goes into there first. Get that open. So that goes around, so that's the way it's going to go. So that would be the live end. Close that down onto the carabiner, making sure that that comes over the edge into the lock position. And now if I pull up through, so what you can see is as I pull through, I've still got no mechanical advantage. All I've got here is this now is locking. And can you see, as I pull down, it's actually maintaining the strain. No mechanical advantage, but this now has locked it off. If I want to let it down, open it up into that nice position to allow it to run free. So this is just our lock. So we're going to get this in nice and early and open it up so I can run the rope through, take the tension out. That's just the locking mechanism. So the next parts are these parts here. So this is exactly the same, that ascender. I'm actually going to place that onto this live rope here. Drop that down so it grips on. You remember that will slide up and grip back down. I'm now going to put a carabiner and we're going to go through there, and I'm going to put another pulley on, but what I'm going to do is run my rope through it and now clip this in. Do everything up. So if you look at what we've got here, we've essentially got a Z kind of system. We can see a Z shape. This is a 3-to-1 mechanical advantage. So because I've got everything here, I'm now pulling down in this direction. Open that up so it runs free. And as I pull down, it's really easy. As I let go, it locks. So this now has got slack in the system. That now allows me to pin that up as high as I want to. And now I can easily pull that down as far as I want. I've come to the top there, lock it off. So this here is our 3-to-1 mechanical advantage. Very easy to do. And because we've now stopped, make sure our ID locks off. So that's kind of locked. This can all come out of the system now. So I'm just going to take this out. Take my pulley out. Take that off. All my bits there, and all I'm left with now is this for lowering back down. So I bring my handle across. Remember, this is my working hand, so it comes over that thicker edge, the same as when I was lowering myself down, and I can gently lower down back to the ground. Okay, so that was the 3-to-1 mechanical advantage that we had there. All I'm going to do now is create this as a 6-to-1. So, to create a 6-to-1, I'm just going to undo this, and we're going to fix this at the top. So what I'm going to do this time is have a pulley down the bottom here. So pulley down here, and I'm going to fix this up to there before we pull it. So I need a bit more rope to come through the system. So all I'm going to do is open this up here, take my rope out, pull my rope through. I'm going to just do a figure of 8 there, and I'm just going to create another anchor point. Now I'm going to bring this up, anchor point, do that up. So we've now got our anchor point. If I was to pull here, that would just be a one-to-one lift, so no advantage there. If I was to pull down, I basically got my 3-to-1 Z drag, but there's no lock in the system. So what I can do now is where I've got this going up and down, and again, where we keep it as neat as we can, I can run this back through my system here. So click that back on, open that up, so that will pull through, lock that down. I now need to connect this back on, so this will go down in exactly the same way. So I need, what do I need now? I'm going to need one more pulley, and I'm going to need to hook that down onto there. So just bear with me for 2. So back through with my pulley. So this is going to make sure this grabs the rope, and not the nicest carabiner in there for turning around. I'm going to swap that carabiner actually, just because it would be easier. So weight one cooler, get out first. So back up to here, so just popping this through on there. Think about which way round we want it. So we're going to be clicking that in. So make sure we've got a nice kind of area for pulling. That's going to go through the pulley. That's down, carabiner done up. So this now is basically my 3-to-1 with the extra bit in there. So I can pull that all the way up, and then as I open this now, I can pull this down really easy, and I am doing that really easy. You can just see how I'm doing it easy. It hasn't moved as far, but I'm doing it so easy. This is a 6-to-1 mechanical advantage. And then we come down, and you can see I've hit the kind of the top there, so we've got to where we are. Again, you know, this is our 6-to-1 mechanical advantage, so you can see how everything was done up there, I'm sure. So all I've got to do is let it down. So lock it off, we're nearly finished now. This is slack, this is not needed, so we can take this out of the system. You've seen this stuff before now, all I'm doing is de-rigging it. So that comes out of the system. That comes out of the system. We don't need this. So that comes out of the system. We're still on this kind of configuration, so open it up, lower them down, it's locked. This is literally, because of the mechanical advantage, there's not enough weight on this to get it to that sweet spot for, there we go, for lowering down. Literally just because of the mechanical advantage we had on it. So there we are, we can now de-rig all of this, take all of this out, take all of our system apart. And we're back to our standard kind of bit. So lots we can do with little bits of gear. We can see that, lots we can play with. That's really the basics of everything we need to do. We can look at lots more during the training. I hope that's helped, guys.